Hello, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video. In this video, we will explain the recommended steps to unpack, mount, and program a new Networks Expander. The part number for the Networks Expander is AL-IME2-EXP. By default, a new expander contains alarm lock firmware and is not compatible with the Continental CA4K software. You must download Continental firmware to it to make it Continental compatible. In this video, we will attach the expander to the wired gateway we discovered in the Getting Started with Gateways video. One gateway can have up to 7 expanders attached to it. As per the overview diagram displaying, the optional Networks Expander extends the allowable distance between a Generation 2 gateway and a wireless lock. One gateway can have up to 7 expanders attached to it and can control up to 63 wireless locks. Unpack the AL-IME2-EXP expander and take note of all the documentation and hardware in the box. The expander box will not include an Ethernet cable. Expanders communicate strictly wireless. The documentation includes the expander installation instructions and the expander ID card with the expander serial number on it. If the documentation also includes a DL Windows user guide, please disregard this document. DL Windows is not used when the CA4K software is used. In addition to the documentation, a 6-volt AC transformer, power cable, and expander is included. Attach the end of the power cable with the spade locks to the 6-volt AC transformer power supply. Open up the expander by inserting a small flathead screwdriver into the 2 slots at the bottom and twist while applying inward pressure. Prior to doing this, please verify the bottom housing screw is removed. On a new expander, the bottom screw should not be installed yet. Warning: mounting the expander in the proper location is critical. The positioning of the expander is also critical. The mounting instructions are clearly noted in the installation instructions. Upon opening up the expander, feed the power supply cable through the opening in the back cover. Next, attach the power supply cable to the 2-pin connector in the middle of the board. Very important: if the 2-pin connector is the flip-up type connector and not 2 screws, flip the black clips up to the open position, insert the 2 wires into the connector, and then push the black clips back down. Next, check the settings of the 2 rotary address switches. For our demonstration, set the group address switches to 50. The gateway we are going to attach to is also set to address 50. Reminder: the gateway address must be set to the same address as the expanders that will attach to it. Again, you can have up to 7 expanders per gateway. This is considered one group. Above the rotary switches is the reset switch. This is the reset switch used to reset the expander. Next, close up the expander. The expander consists of a yellow, red, and green LED. Expanders can be placed in a daisy chain configuration or a star configuration. It all depends on the floor layout and where the wireless locks are actually located. This screen displays an example of a daisy chain configuration. Next, this screen displays an example of a star configuration. Next, apply power to the expander using the supplied transformer. Upon power up, even if it's a new expander out of the box, it is recommended to perform a reset. A reset clears expander memory and user data and rewrites the expander group dial settings into expander memory. To perform a reset on an expander, power up the expander and press and hold the reset button until the red LED turns on solid. Now, release the button and the green LED will start to flicker rapidly, indicating the expander is ready for discovery. Next, launch the CA4K software. Upon launching the CA4K, click System and then System Settings. On the bottom of the screen, verify that Select Use Wireless Locks is selected. This should already be enabled if you previously discovered and added in a gateway. Next, launch the Configuration Wireless Lock screen. Click Configuration on the main menu and then click Wireless Locks on the drop-down menu. The Wireless Locks configuration screen displays. Please take a close look at this screen. The top half of the screen is for gateways and expanders, and the bottom half is for wireless locks. Next, click Expanders. Upon the expander screen displaying, click Search. A message box will display that the search function can take a minute or two to complete. Click Yes to continue. Next, after a minute or so, all the expanders found will display. Find the expander with the serial number that is on the white ID card and select it. Take note of the firmware version. A new expander out of the box will contain Alarm Lock firmware. Select the expander and click Download and then Send firmware to all expanders. Next, navigate to the firmware folder under the Card Access 4K folder. Select the conexpander.bin file and click Open. Note, the conexpander.bin file is the firmware file for an expander. After about a minute or so, a message will display, Expander firmware was sent to Gateway successfully. Take note of the updated firmware version. For our demonstration, it went from 1.33 to 2.36. Now go back and display all assigned gateways. Take notice that the expander count for the gateway is now 1. This concludes the Getting Started with Expanders video. In the next video, we will discover and add in a wireless lock to the system. After completing this video, please watch the following videos on getting started with wireless locks. Again, thank you for taking the time to watch this video.